Drums, please. Yells, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Creator Town Hall here on Studio Live today for yet another week. My name is Pete Johns, and in this show, we're going to be talking about a bunch of cool things. We'll be talking about what is most important to you as a creator. Is it all about skill or luck or gear? We'll find out about that. Do you regularly close your apps on your iPhone or your iPad? I'll discuss that because I do it all the time. It's the 1 year anniversary of my EP Own Battle, which you just heard in the opening there. And why don't Taylor guitars like Duracell batteries? All of that and a whole bunch more here on the Creator Town Hall. I hope you are doing well and having a good time and having a good week. It is Songtember. We'll also be talking about that in just a few moments as well. But to get started, there is a poll there. So if you're joining us live, you can vote in the poll there on YouTube. And we're going to ask that question. And we're going to leave that one up there for the first half of the show, asking you whether... And the question there is, what do you think is the most important thing as a creator? Is it your skill? Is it your hard work, your effort? Is it the gear that you use? Or does it all come down to luck? Are we all just pawns in this chess game of creative life? That's what I want to know from you. So I'll tell you my thoughts on this. They won't be super surprising, and we'll get to that later in the show. Let's dive in here to topic number one. Now, there are a bunch of notes down in the description. So if you want to follow along with this, especially if you're watching on the replay, you can jump down there because we've got a bunch of links there to all the stuff I'm going to talk about. And the first thing I want to talk about here is this video I watched today. Now, it's from Apple Explained, and the question asked there is why you shouldn't, actually it's not a question, it's a statement, why you shouldn't close iPhone apps. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I have a problem with my phone, it seems like, and I don't know whether it's just a thing, like a cathartic thing that I do, but the more apps that I have running in what I think is the background, the worse I feel. So if we take a look at my apps here, yeah, I got a bunch of stuff going on there. And quite often what I'll do is I'll just come in here and I'll just flick everything away. I don't know why, but it just makes me feel a bit better. Now, what this video is saying is that that actually doesn't matter. That doesn't make any sense. You don't need to do that. And the reason you don't need to do that is that when they're running in the background, iOS actually manages these things really well. And it doesn't actually matter that they're there. In fact, the majority of them, and you would have noticed this yourself, the majority of the apps that are running in the background, we'll just open up a couple again now, a lot of the time, even though it shows that, it's literally just a picture there. And as soon as you go back and you tap on the app, it reloads the app anyway. So a lot of the time, it's not even that relevant that you have this stuff loaded up in the background or not. So I don't know. There's something for me. I think it's from my Windows days where when you had a whole bunch of Windows apps open in the background, it was definitely pulling down the system performance because they would use memory. They would create big logs on your page files, so big files on your hard drives, and it was a big pain in the ass. So I don't know about you, but I'm going to continue closing my apps. But it's a really interesting watch to find out why, apparently, we're all doing the wrong thing by closing down our apps, and we really don't need to. It is just more of a mental thing that it feels like you've freshened things up if you close off on your apps. What do you do though? I'm intrigued. I'm interested to know, do you close down your apps if you're having problems with your iPhone or iPad? Because I sure as heck do. And is it the same on Android? If you're an Android user, do you close down your apps? Is that a thing that you do over there? I don't know. Let's talk about Songtember, shall we? Because that's definitely the big news of the week, is that it is the 2nd of September here in South Australia, Adelaide, South Australia. It is the evening of the 2nd of September, which is a Thursday night. And for you, it's probably Thursday morning or midday, depending where you are in the world. So it is day 2 of Songtember. Now, if you're new to the channel, if you don't know what Songtember is all about, Songtember is a song in the month challenge where I challenge you, yes, you, I challenge you and me to create, record, and complete an entire song all within the month of September. We rename it to Songtember and we get it done. It's a great motivator, in my view. It motivates you. It gives you what I like to call positive time pressure. And if you're a creator and if you're a procrastinator like me, you'll know that sometimes some positive nudge in the right direction is exactly what you need. For instance, when I have something that I really need to get done, my house is never tidier. Like I like to use positive procrastination. So when I've got something, when I need to do my taxes, suddenly every floor in the house is vacuumed. Is anyone else with me? Does anyone have the same thing where whenever you've got something really important to do, but you really don't want to do it, you just spend all of your time doing other things, doing anything you can to avoid it? Well, yeah. And I worked that out a while ago that instead of just playing video games or instead of just doing whatever I felt like, I would try and do something positive. So consider this your positive procrastination is if you want to get away from doing something, got that big work assignment due, or you really need to go and do the weed the garden, well then just create a song instead and join Songtember. So we've already had 2 videos. So thank you again to all the folks who are at the big launch party. I'll show you a really quick sort of snippet here, just so that you can see what we had going on here. Check this out. We had a who's who of the Create, Record, Release community. We had on the screen there, we had the wonderful Jade Starr, Thomas Christ, Joe and Barry Glenn. I think I saw Joe Glenn in the chat here right now. Russ 8889, Patrick Chandler, and Darren Anderson. So we had an all-star cast there for the opening of Songtember, and all of those folks are going to be participating in Songtember. I've already seen, excuse me, I've seen that Darren Anderson, for instance, has got new bass guitar strings, so he's taken this stuff seriously. Jade Starr has already done her first video all about Songtember. She did that this morning, so it is happening. It is happening in a big bad way, so Songtember is a thing. Now, if you want to join us, if you're new to the channel or even if you've been hanging around a while, all you need to do, here's the rules. They're super simple. Create a song, mix it and master it, get it completed, and then share it or don't. You don't even really have to share it. It's not actually part of the rules. But if you do, and if you release it, I haven't mentioned this in other ones, but I actually buy a copy of everyone's song. So if you release using DistroKid, and I recommend you do, we'll be talking about DistroKid later in the show, and we've always got a link down in the description. So DistroKid are, full disclosure, a wonderful sponsor of this channel. They're not sponsoring this video, but they do sponsor my Your Music live show. So I release all my stuff here on DistroKid. And if we go back here, for instance, this one, New Beginning, that was my Songtember 2020 song. This one, Hold On, that was my Songtember 2019 song. So I've been releasing songs with DistroKid. And the cool thing is that if you release it with DistroKid or any other distributor and you get it onto iTunes, I'm buying a copy. So put it up there for your 99 cents or your $1.29 or whatever it's going to cost, and I'll buy a copy. So if you want to get involved in Songtember and find out what all the fuss is about, do that. And not only will you get a sense of self-satisfaction, a warm, fuzzy feeling way down in the cockles, you'll become a professional musician. Because remember, the definition of a professional musician means that you have sold something. Someone has paid money to acquire your music or to listen to your musical prowess. So become a professional, release your music, use DistroKid, go do it. And a couple of people we're going to talk about later in the show, teaser here, have just released albums using DistroKid, and we'll be talking. They're both called Thomas. There you go. I've ruined the surprise. Let's say good day to the folks who were kind enough to be here live. We were talking about Joe Glenn just before. Hello to you, Gregory O'Sullivan. I've seen you've started your Songtember journey. Good stuff, mate. Just rocking it out on the keyboards. Love it. You're over there in Melbourne, you're locked down, so get into your audio cave and get working. G'day to John. It's been a while since I was on one of these, so I thought I'd pop in and say a quick hello. Hope everyone's Songtember is progressing well. John is in. John is in for Songtember. John joined us in Songtember last year, and he's back again. And this is the beauty part of doing this show at this time, is that many of our Australian and our UK and our European friends here on the channel get to actually tune in. So that's why there's a bit of a trial. This isn't the usual time of the day that I actually do streaming, but hopefully it helps you out if you're in other parts of the world. Hello to Deep Gravity. I hope you are doing well. Hello to Jade Starr. I close everything before I start a door. Yeah, and I think that's what it comes from, because it's all fine and dandy to say don't close your apps, right? Don't worry about closing your apps. But if you know about GarageBand and you know about iOS and you know about core audio in the iOS world, you need to make sure that there's not another app that's trying to infiltrate your audio. So you do need to sometimes actually close out just to make sure nothing is conflicting with your audio on your app of choice. John also says, I'm always closing my iPhone apps and will continue to do so. OCD. Yeah, I'm the same. I love closing things, and I love getting things nice and clear. Joe said, I thought you had to, and yes, I clear every night. I just do too. And apparently we're all idiots, but that's all right. Let's all be idiots together, Joe. It's fine. Dan Ekberg, good morning from Chicago, from Chi-Town. Hello to you. Hope you're doing well. Stephen Hewitt, good evening from Woodford, Queensland. Enjoying your producer pack series. Well, thank you, Stephen. Yeah, so I'm not talking about it in this particular video, but don't forget, we still have all those GarageBand producer packs. So the 10 different producer packs, including the Dua Lipa and the Lady Gaga, but the 8 artist and producer packs. They are really awesome. They are very, very cool. Sometimes you just get in that zone and can't stop. Absolutely. Sometimes you need to just keep going. I think that's talking about Jade getting stuck in and getting started with Songtember. All right, quick beverage. That's definitely tea, as long as you have no follow-up questions. All right, so let's go into our next topic, shall we? By the way, if you do have questions, this is interactive, and if you're here live, you can ask your questions. All you need to do is do that. Put the word question in front of your question, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have if you drop on in here. This is a bit of a drop-in show, I tend to find. By the way, my Songtember song, I did share in my latest one. Look, we're still going over here. Look at this gallery of gurus that we have there. But if we come back over here, the one that we did today, I did my songwriting. So I was talking all about songwriting today, and we actually wrote most of. There you go. I was recording. I recorded vocals. I recorded guitar. You can go back to the playlist down in the description and check that one out if you missed it. We did have a couple of technical hitches. Let's just see if we can find one of them here. There you go. So you can see there that we had a big freeze that happened there, but I resurrected it because I grabbed my phone. This is the beauty of StreamYard, the platform that I use here. I was able to just grab my phone and join from StreamYard on my phone. And then when we got things back up and running, I just had to reset my Mac, and look, we were back up and running. No problems at all. So you roll with the punches, and hopefully those that were watching are like, yes, when things go wrong, you got two options, right? You can freak out or you can roll with the punches. And guess what? Freaking out has never helped anyone with anything. Not in my experience anyway. I don't think anyone has ever gone, thank goodness I lost my ever-loving mind and freaked out when things all went to crap, because if I didn't, whoa, I would have been in trouble. No, it's quite often the opposite way around. If you're just cool and calm and collected and cool as a cucumber, then things go okay. So I wasn't necessarily cool as a cucumber. Inside, I was just dying inside. But on the outside, I was like, yeah, this is fine. It's all good. I released an EP a year ago. It was called Own Battle. Now, this is an interesting one. I talked about this in the Songtember launch show with all of the gurus you saw before, that I released an album on it ended up getting out on the 30th of August. So it's actually a couple of days ago. I kind of just forgot about it, to be honest. But just before Songtember, I wanted to get this EP out. So you heard the start of Never to Blame there. So this was like my mop-up EP. So these are all the singles that I released throughout 2019 and 2020. That didn't make it on my album, that didn't make it on my EP called Maybe, but they were too good to just leave on the shelf. So at the time, I was like, right, I'm pulling them all together, I'm putting them on an EP, I'm calling it Own Battle. Now, for those of you that know me and know the situation at that time, as I was pulling this EP together, I was going through some challenges with my day job, which ended up ultimately Imi no longer being employed in the corporate world, which is where I'm at right now to this very day. So in mid-August, got advised of that. My last day with my employer was on the 30th of September, and that was the day I finished my Songtember song. But before that, while I was going through all of that funness, and anyone that's gone through a redundancy knows what I'm talking about, it's the funnest experience you're ever going to go through. While I was going through that, I was doing this. So the name of it, Own Battle, yeah, that kind of came from it. And the songs that we had in there, so Never to Blame, Imagination, Things Change, Wasting Time, 6 and 8, and We're Trying to Have a Society Here. It was, and I've said it before, but it was like a cathartic release to get all these songs out there. So I do invite you to go. It's weird. I listen to this more than I listen to my album. So I've got an album called Selfish Aware I did in 2018. I've got an EP that I really liked that I released in early 2020. And then I have this one, which is my Own Battle EP, which is a bit of a bitzer. But the reason I love this is it's got some of my favorite songs to listen to and to play. So my absolute favorite song to play on acoustic guitar is this one called Never to Blame. Goes like this. because it's just got this chord progression that I love. And I like it because I wrote it about people that are never to blame. And at that point in time, we had various world leaders that were less than ideal. We had various things going on in the world that were basically, a lot of people, accountability seemed to be lacking. And I wanted to sort of put that into the world that, yeah, it's not actually cool if you're never to blame. Sometimes being accountable and taking blame for things is the right thing to do. And unfortunately, I worry for our kids, not to get too into the weeds, but I worry for our kids that there's not too many people that are showing that taking accountability and being humble and showing humility is a good thing. So, yeah, that's why I wrote Never to Blame. Imagination is my attempt at rap. That was this one. So this was my my funky hip-hoppy rap song, if we go into a bit where I'm actually singing.
When I was a little kid, always worried about the things I never did, always thinking about the next big problem.
So this is about the fact that we believe our brains too much. I wrote the song Anxiety, and this is kind of the follow-up to Anxiety called Imagination, all about the brain, all about our thoughts and our feelings, because, yeah, and it basically says don't always believe the things in your head, sometimes it's just imagination. A bit like anxiety lies to you, your own brain lies to you. And it's a bit weird that for whatever reason, we all trust in our own, like people say, trust your gut, trust your instinct. But for goodness sake, don't trust your brain, because that thing lies to you on the daily. That thing makes up, like there's the confirmation bias and a whole bunch of things that go with that is all based on the fact that our brains lie to us on the regular. So I'm not saying don't trust yourself or don't trust your judgment all the time, but yeah, definitely question your brain. Things change. I love this because my man Dan Baker played violins on this, and I'll play you just the first 10 seconds because take a listen to Dan Baker, the wonderful Dan Baker on violins on this one. So that one was written and released well before all of the C word and the P word, but it basically talks to that. It says, the only thing that doesn't change is that things will change. And I stand by that because I live my life by the fact that, yeah, you can choose to kick and scream, but things will change. Like the whole make anything great again. And again, I'm not getting political here, but let's not make things great again. Let's not go back to the way things were. Let's realize that we've got to take the good things and then add to them. I won't go through the others, but wasting time is all about addiction and how we give a lot of empathy to the people who are dealing with addiction. We don't give enough empathy to the people who are dealing with the people who are dealing with addiction. So that's what Wasting Time is about. 6 and 8 is just a fun song about a guy who learns to dance and grows up and marries someone. And we're trying to have a society here is my my piano, my angry piano song that goes like this.
The matter with people these days.
And it really talks about the fact that we're trying to have a society here, and so many people are so focused on what other people think, especially what strangers think. And it's so bizarre that people do things, people buy things, people go into debt to buy things to impress people they don't like on the daily, on the regular. And that's super weird. Like the whole flex culture, the whole, yeah, I've got this thing and then I can flex on these people and I'll show them by having things. It's not about the things. Anyway, I didn't mean to go into quite so much detail with that one because we've got a whole bunch more show to get to, but do go and check out the EP. I'm pretty proud of it. It's one of my favorite things that I've created, even though it's a kind of a hodgepodge of different stuff. I think the overall feel of that particular EP aligns with me and my sensibility a whole lot. So I hope you choose to go and check it out and enjoy it. And thank you to Jade, who has popped that one. Gallery of Goons. No gurus, Jade, not goons, but a little bit goons. Hey, it's Russ8880. Speaking of goons, Russ8889, who was on the show as well. I hope you're doing well there, mate. Let's move on to our next topic, and this is a weird one. This one I discovered about a week ago, and I've been meaning to talk about it for a while. And I've got a prop here. I've got my Taylor acoustic electric guitar here, because Taylors don't like Duracell. And this is something that I learned thanks to a video from a creator. So yeah, this is all creator adjacent. So I was trying to work out what the heck was going on with my guitar. So if you caught the town hall, what's the thing I do? Happy hour. If you caught the happy hour a few weeks ago, you'll know that I was playing my guitar and it just kind of crapped out. And then I replaced the battery and it kind of crapped out again. And yes, we do say battery here, not battery. It's just how I talk. But I was desperately trying to work out what was going on here. So I finally found this video from Sonic Check Sound Check videos, and they said Taylor guitar battery problem, 9-volt ear system fuzzy, easy fix. Now I've seen videos like this before where it's like easy fix, and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't usually hit the mark and cut the mustard. But this was indeed an easy fix. So let me show you. Let me talk to you through what the problem here is, because it's one of those things where the problem is solved by something that you don't even think about. It's kind of like the most popular video on this channel is how to clean out your headphone jack or your lightning port with a toothpick. This is kind of the equivalent of that. So if we grab the Taylor here, in the base of the Taylor guitar, we have the battery compartment here. And this is what powers up your pickup. So we've got an Energizer battery in here at the moment. And I've got an Energizer in here because previously I was using Duracells in here and they weren't working. Now, why? Well, I'm going to show you why. It's because apparently not all 9-volt batteries are created equal. If we take this one out, the Energizer will just pop out of this little caddy, like that, comes out of there, and it just sits in like that, right? You slide it in there, it pops in, no problem. Everyone's happy, hunky-dory, no problem. It's pretty snug, but it's not too tight. Here's the thing. When you grab our copper top friend, the Duracell here, these things are actually significantly chunkier. Like, you don't notice it with most things, but when you actually just feel there, you've got about 0.5 millimeter of additional size on there. Now, that doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem until you have to force it into here. And what was happening is that it wasn't connecting, or it was leading me into this false sense of security. But as soon as I started playing, it would jolt around the place and then it would pop out of place. So Duracell batteries, for whatever reason, decided to be slightly chunkier. So if you have a Taylor guitar, and I'm not sure, I haven't tested this with a bunch of other guitars, but if you've got a pickup system in your guitar, in your electric acoustic, that works similarly to this, and you're finding you're having issues, check your batteries. If you're using Duracells, or especially if you're using like cheaper no-name kind of batteries, sometimes they're just slightly too chunky, and these things are designed to just slide in there. So is it a giant conspiracy dictated by the Energizer Corporation and Big Battery? Probably. Am I going to just buy Energizers by the 4-pack in the future just to make sure that I have a working guitar? Definitely. So I thought that was interesting. And if anyone's had the same sort of problems with their instruments or with anything else that uses 9-volt batteries, who knew, right? Who knew that the compartment size would actually impact that and would affect it? Totally weird. Hello, good morning from Brooklyn. Joining us nice and early over there. How are you, by the way? My goodness. I struggle to watch the news these days because I saw Louisiana. Shout out to all my friends. Shout out to Mary and all of my friends over in Louisiana. I know Ida came through and caused some problems there. It's now pushing over to, Thomas Christ over there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then New York. I was watching the news tonight and they're like, New York is underwater. I'm like, what's going on here? Mother Nature. In my song, on that Own Battle EP I was talking about before, I said Mother Nature is kicking our ass. And that was related to the bushfires we were having here. Remember when the Australian bushfires in January 2020, we were like, well, this is going to be the biggest world news in 2020, that's for sure. Yeah, no, not even close. But yeah, we had devastating bushfires here in Australia. And now, yeah, Mother Nature is legitimately kicking the ass of the east coast of the US. So I hope you are doing well, Christoph, and I hope that you are not too soggy wherever you happen to be. Because yeah, that would suck. Mary did let you know. She's good stuff. Thank you, Jade. I did reach out to Mary today. So this is the thing about having a community like this, is that she's literally responding to me now, Jade. How cool is that? She was obviously asleep, but I've just checked my message I sent to Mary, and hello, Mary. I hope you are well. Yeah, the weird thing about having a community like this where we have people all over the world is that whenever world events happen, then people sort of check in. So here in Australia, as you know, we've got the D variant of the C word because of the global P word, and everyone's in the L word. I know I can't say the words because YouTube will flag me and say, you might be giving misinformation about world events. But yeah, I know people in Victoria, New South Wales, obviously, having issues at the moment with that sort of thing. And people have reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, where in Australia are you? You're on the news. They're saying Australia's broken." I'm like, "Yeah, we're kind of broken, but that's all right. We'll get there eventually. By and by." We were just a little bit late on the V word for the C word. Can we move on, please? All right. I wanted to talk about something else here, something much else, and that is DistroKid video distribution. What? So as you know, I'm a big fan of DistroKid. We talked about it earlier in the show. DistroKid is my favorite music distribution platform, and until now, DistroKid has only allowed you to release your music files. So you can release your songs to Apple Music, to Spotify, to Deezer, to Tidal, to Amazon, to YouTube Music, to Instagram, to a whole bunch of places. As you can see there, all these little icons are different places that all my music is out there in the world. So that's pretty cool. But you haven't been able to release your music as a video. Now you can, of course, you can use YouTube. I've had videos here on the channel. I've told you how to do this. You can have YouTube artist accounts. You can have it completely separate where you just put your own videos up on YouTube. But music videos have become, obviously, a big thing as video continues to be a big thing. And DistroKid released a very intriguing but tweet with far too little information. And it was this. So today they said, video distribution coming soon. Could you be more vague, DistroKid? That's exciting. But now what do I do? What do I do with this information? What do I do with the fact that it's coming soon? When is it coming? What is it going to do? How do I use it? I want more. I need more. So it's interesting that DistroKid are going to move into the world of video distribution. What does it even mean? Distributing to where? Is this like the Instagram and the Spotify videos that we're going to do? Are you going to, when you release a song, do you upload a video file at the same time to be your music video with your single? What about albums and EPs? Do you have to have a video for every single song? I have more questions than answers right now, but I wanted to bring it to you because, as you know, I love DistroKid. They don't give me any insight into this stuff, so I don't actually know what's going on or what's actually happening with it, like Scout's honor. Even if I did and couldn't tell you, I'd probably say I know, but I can't tell you. But I don't know anything. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. What are DistroKid doing? What does video distribution from DistroKid actually mean? I don't know. And as Russ says, DistroKid will be brilliant when it comes to iPad. Still waiting. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why we don't have a mobile app yet. That would be what I'd be focusing on, DistroKid, again, because I know that they're going to listen to me. They're like, quick, stop the presses. Pete Johns said that we need a mobile app. Let's get onto it. But really, they need a mobile app because that's the one thing. If there's one thing that I would say, because people that use Amuse or that use other platforms, the one thing that you can't do really easily with DistroKid is release from your iPhone or your iPad. And if you know me and you know this channel, you know that's something that I'm pretty big on. So I'm more than happy. Again, they're a sponsor of this channel, and I love DistroKid to death. They are awesome. I've loved them for years before they sponsored this channel. But the one thing that I really want to see is an app. So hopefully that will happen in the future. We'll see how we go. They could have said that something is coming soon. True. I said, could you be more vague? They could have just said, something is coming. And then see what people say about it. Something is coming. The streets are dry again. Thanks for asking. Well, that's cool. Because, yeah, I saw the usual bad videos of cars floating down the street. And I know the media will show us the worst of the worst. And it won't necessarily be super consistent. But yeah, it still did suck to kind of see that, and I don't like to see anything like that going on. I wanted to talk about something a bit different here because we've got a small crowd here, so I feel that I can share this. I can trust you folks. So I'm going to talk about my secret YouTube channel. I've got a couple of them, in fact, and I wanted to say this because when people talk to me and they're like, "Oh man, you're so lucky, you got 94,000 subscribers, and yeah, you do music and you do this for a living, and it's so great that you did this." But what they don't realize is that this is about my 5th YouTube channel, and it's the same. Everyone I talk to in the YouTube and the creator space has tried different things, and it's relatable to music as well. A lot of people have tried different bands, they've tried different genres, they've tried different music until they find the perfect combination of what is right for them and what is right for their audience. So, and I say those two things because you can do what's right for your audience, but absolutely hate it. Like, how many people work a job where they're successful, they make a lot of money, they got the Lambo, they got the girlfriend, they got the big house by the beach, but they friggin' hate it. Versus the people that are making $50,000 a year but are having an absolute blast doing it because they're doing something that they love. So there's that side of it. But then there is what is actually going to work for other people as well. So I think you need both. And I tried to do a few different things before I did this channel, or concurrently with this channel. And one that I started, which I've talked about before, this is not exactly a secret, but that I did with my wife. And this was when I first started learning more about video editing and audio and how to cut together videos and how to promote things on YouTube. I wanted to do something that was completely left of field and that wasn't really music related. So as a creator, I decided we were literally, so here's the story. I was sitting at the pub with my wife and my two kids. They were very young at that point, and we were just having a beer and having a meal. And I'm like, you know what? All this unboxing stuff is fine, but I think it would be really, what I want to watch is a show where people buy like the cheap stuff from eBay and then open it. But I want to see like why they bought it. And then I want to see them open it and actually use it and see if these things that are like 99 cents and $1.99 are actually any good or whether they're actually a complete fail. So cut to another month later, and we'd registered to the domain of called $2 Looker. Now, right out the gate, $2 Looker sounds too much like $2 Hooker. And that was the point. It was a play on words. But it didn't work because I think people thought it was a dodgy, like, R-rated site. It absolutely wasn't. It was all just about having a bit of fun. And we created videos. We did 30 of these things. So for those that are saying, oh, I'm trying things and I've tried 4 videos and it's not working. Well, we tried 30. Did it work? Was it amazing? No, not really. But was it fun? And did we have a blast doing it? Yeah, we totally did. So if you want to dive into the archive, this was all through you can see there, 4 years ago, through 2017, back in the before times, in the long, long ago. And if you want to see the infancy of me learning how to do all this business, but also having a lot of fun and hanging out with my wife, you can check these out. So I thought I will play you a video here. So I will play you one of these, which is, I like this one, the So Egg-Cited. See what I tried to do? I tried to make them like mysterious too. I think I'd watched too many YouTube tutorials saying, you've got to make things mysterious. But this was me learning how to create and learning to be a creator. So why don't we take a quick break? We'll come back with our midpoint motivation and the poll results. So if you haven't answered the poll, go ahead and answer the poll. But it's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds, as you can see there. So let's take a look at some history from 4 years ago. $2 Looker, So Egg-Cited. Are we destroying the planet one package at a time?
Probably. Is this plastic?
Is it recyclable? This one kind of shakes. It's kind of in a plastic bubble.
Oh no, it's hard. It's very hard. No, that's just the that's just a bubble.
It's in like a packet with a protective... I'm going to stop using my hand. Just open it.
Oh no, it's the thing. Oh, it's the egg timer.
It's the egg perfect colour-changing egg timer. We should stop buying food things because I don't want any of these to go near anything that we may consume. Do you like eggs?
I do.
Don't you hate how it's so hard to cook them?
It's not that hard to cook them. For you, maybe.
Don't you hate how hard it is for me to cook eggs? You need this.
The egg perfect color changing timer. Yummy, soft, hard boiled eggs cooking kitchen ib. This is a very interesting one of these. It's an egg timer and egg rings apparently. Heat sensitive.
That's good because don't you plonk it
Oh,
in?
it goes in.
You plonk it with the eggs.
Graduated scales show when eggs are soft, medium, or hard by cents and heat instead of time. However, do not immerse the egg timer in cold water. Put it in hot water.
Dude,
But not cold.
it's saying don't cook eggs in cold water. I cannot wait to cook eggs with this thing in cold water. No, wait, hot water.
Hot water.
What you can do, see, you put it in, and you can see on the back there, it's got the different timings, and it says whether you want it soft, medium, or hard. Put it in with your hard-boiled
Put it in.
eggs.
Let's make some hard-boiled eggs.
Let's give it a go.
Oh, one broke. Oh well.
That was back in?
Yep.
Weird egg pen.
Ooh, better.
Ooh.
No wastage. We're all about the environment, apart from all the packaging.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we stopped, because the packaging was a bit ridiculous. And we realized partway through that buying really cheap things and bringing them over from China was kind of, reprehensible when it came to the whole environmental side of things. So we stopped doing that after 30 episodes, but man, was it fun. And did I learn a lot? So did I show you that just to show you what I was doing 4 years ago? No, I did it for a couple of reasons. Number one is that if you're creating and you're like, hey, I'm not where I want to be, that's where I was 4 years ago. So keep that in mind. That should give you a nice sort of thing to paint over. The music and the audio production in that. So you would have noticed there that we weren't using a microphone close to our faces, which made the audio quite echoey. So I learnt very quickly that you need to use a lapel mic, or you need to have mics closer up. The lighting there was quite atrocious, so it was very harsh lighting. I used like a spotlight, and that didn't work there for the video production. And the audio, what I learnt was that background music has to be really quiet and really appropriate. So did you hear how overpowering the background music was in those videos that I was creating there? Yeah, so many people when they're starting out, they make that same mistake, that the background music should be, if it's there at all, it should be so quiet. Like we're talking like if your volume of your speech is 100, your volume of your background music should be like 5. Because the amount of YouTube videos I've seen where the volume of the music is way too loud is a bad thing. So I thought I would show that here because it's interesting. Now I have another channel. I'm not going to talk about it because we're running low on time. But weirdly, as I mentioned before, the most popular video on this channel is how to clean out your port. Which sounds dirty, but it's not meant to be. I've got another channel that I've never really played around with. It's this one here. It's called Semi Nude. And as you can see, I have 4 videos. And I created these videos more for me than anyone else. So it was how to set up my Atari 2600. So my old video game console, which I still have. I've still got the old Atari 2600 with Space Invaders and all the rest. How to set up the Sega Master System 2. Look, no thumbnails here, just really blank videos. And this one was, again, the surprise. I could never remember how to descale my coffee machine. So I created this one to remind myself of how to do it. And apparently, no one else can remember how to descale their coffee machine either, because 65,000 people, or 65,000 views later, a lot of people are actually watching that. I then tried something else here, which was like a CD listening party kind of experience. It didn't work. Copyright and content ID out the wazoo. It wasn't a lot of fun. But I say all of that whole last 10 minutes was to tell you that if you try things, you will learn from them. It won't necessarily be a home run every time. It won't necessarily be something that grows into something else. But if you don't try it, you don't know. This channel started because no one that I could find was sharing a whole bunch of GarageBand and music memo tutorials. So I just started creating them myself. And this worked. Did everything else I've done work? No. Will everything work with you and your creating and your music? No. But if you don't try it, you'll never know. So the old Wayne Gretzky quote, or it was actually his dad, Walter Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So get out there and take shots and see what happens. Hello, Black Covers. Just having a quick short sneak on supper break. Thank you for being here. If you haven't checked out Black Covers, speaking of great YouTube channels, look, we're not doing, I've changed the format here a little bit, so we're not actually doing the hidden gems that we normally do. But here's a free additional hidden gem, and that is Black Covers. Just go to YouTube, search Black Covers, and you'll find a whole bunch of very, very cool cover songs. Because what he does is, I'm assuming it's Ingo. I think Ingo is a he. What Ingo does is creates very cool orchestral covers of popular songs. They are awesome. Look at that. You got Killing in the Name. You're the Voice. There you go. I haven't seen that. Is that the John Farnham song? That's very cool. Say My Name. We've got Manic Monday. Hallelujah. A whole bunch of very cool covers, and he's pretty prolific with his creations. So get on over to Black Covers and check him out, or check them out. need to stop being so. Is a he? There you go. I need to stop being so gender specific. But yeah, it's 42 years of programming that I have to say he, she, they. It's rough. But again, I don't really care. Not that I don't care. I love black covers, but yes, your gender is not defining of your music. You just need to go over and check out the awesome music that is over there. Alrighty, hello to Michael, aka Zealand Band, very early over there in Canada. So thanks for dropping on by. Let's go and talk midpoint motivation now. This aligns with the poll that we have here. You've got 30 seconds. If you've just arrived and you haven't answered the poll, go and answer the poll because I'm about to close it off. And I was hoping it would end the way that you folks have actually done this. We're going to close it now. All right, I've given you enough warning. We're going to go do this. Drum roll, please. We've ended the poll. So the poll question that I actually asked there was, what do you think is the most important thing when it comes to creating? Is it effort? Is it talent? Is it luck? Or is it gear? Now, thankfully, 0% of you said gear. And it's at this point that I mention that if you want to buy some gear for your home studio, you need to come on over to studiolivetoday.com/gear and check out my gear guide. No, that's a bit weird and creepy. No, so 0% said gear. 3%, which is only like 1 or 2 people, said luck. There you go. So luck. Black Covers said mine was luck. There you go. So Black Covers has revealed their one. 28% of you said talent is the most important thing when it comes to creating. And a whopping 68% of you said effort. Now, what's the real thing here? It's a little bit of everything, because of course it is. Nothing is just one thing. But I love that many of you talked about effort, because what I wanted to talk about this week in the midpoint motivation is the fact that effort is super important. How hard you work at something definitely, in my opinion, and remember, this is my opinion, in my opinion, eclipses talent, eclipses gear, and eclipses luck. Now, when I say eclipses luck, do you sometimes, depending what you want to do with it, do you sometimes benefit from being in the right place at the right time? Yeah, you do. But can you, through hard work, sometimes make your own luck? Yeah, I think you can. The problem with people that say that they're not lucky is it's usually because they're not taking chances. It's usually because they're not putting in the effort and they're not trying different things, as opposed to someone who is just doing everything and then eventually they get lucky. Now, I don't really want to relate this to lottery tickets, but the thing is, if you don't buy a lottery ticket, you can't get lucky and win the lottery. If you buy 10 lottery tickets, you might get lucky and win the lottery. If you buy 1,000 lottery tickets, guess what? You're probably going to win some sort of prize, aren't you? And if you buy 1,000,000 lottery tickets, you won't make any money, because all of your money will go into the pool and then you'll only get paid a small amount back. But you're almost guaranteed to win the lottery. So that's a really bad analogy. I'm bad example Pete here today. But do you get what I'm talking about? In terms of that, the more shots you take, the more opportunity you have. And it would be like if I just released one song, it tanked, no one listened to it, and I gave up. And I say that because so many people have actually done that. I've talked to people who have put out one song, they've shared it, someone, stranger on the internet, Farty Pants 26 on the internet said, "That song's no good, you suck, you're not a professional," and they never create again. Well, what Farty Pants 26 doesn't know is that they're a dick. But what they also don't know is that that's their opinion, and that might be the first song that person's ever produced. But guess what? They might do a second and a third and a fourth and a 10th and a 100th and a 200th, and 10 years later, they may be amazing. I always cite Billy Joel here, because Billy Joel took a long time. Like when Billy Joel was really young, it wasn't no Justin Bieber thing. He wasn't no super talent where he got picked up because he played videos on YouTube and played piano in piano bars. No, he literally ground it out. The reason Piano Man is such a good song is that Billy Joel was literally the dude who sat at the piano in the piano bar, and people would sit at the bar and put bread in his jar and get all soggy and sink to the bottom. So it took him 10 years to become an overnight success. And that's the same thing with you and your music. If you put in the effort, if you put in the hard work, you will progress. And remember, practice makes progress. It doesn't make perfection. There is no such thing as perfect. No one's going to be perfect. But you're not going to make progress without effort. And even the most talented person in the world, think of the most talented sports person or the most talented musician or the most talented at anything. Do you think they got there by just being lazy and not actually putting the hard yards in? Or do you think that they used their natural talent and harnessed it with a crap ton of effort. Yeah, I think so. So that's all I got to say about that, said Forrest Gump. All right, who have I missed? Who's dropped on in? It is Mr. Thomas Gillane. That's very relevant because we're about to talk about something else. Day 2 of my GarageBand challenge on Motivate. Yeah, Russ is in GarageBand in September, in Songtember. This is going to be fun to see what Russ does with GarageBand. Hello, Andy, dropping in for a lunchtime treat. I hope you are doing well, my friend. I saw Andy on the Create, Record, Release group too, talking about his progress for Songtember. It was like a piece of paper with like 8 chords, and he's like, "Well, I'm on my way. This is all I got." That's okay. Very cool. And yes, if you do need any help, you've got a pretty good community here, Russ, around you. Hey, Benedict Stewart, I hope you are well, my friend. Dan says there are some real trolls out there that will tell you that you have no business releasing music. Yeah. And you know what's funny about that? I've talked about this before, so I won't harp on. But the funny thing about that is, if you look at the trolls that are in these groups that are making these comments, they're not actually professionals. They're not actually professional musicians or professional mixing artists or professional studio producers. They are professional trolls. They're professional forum trolls that basically just go in there, and the only way that they can feel slightly good about themselves is if they bring other people down. The actual professionals, what are they doing? They're working. They haven't got time for this sort of schnizzle. They're not going to be sitting in forums like debating with people and telling them that if they use GarageBand instead of Pro Tools that they're not going to be successful. Speaking of which, complete side note, but something pretty funny, and that is that I was watching Jeopardy. Me and my wife like to watch Jeopardy because we're kind of trivia and quiz show nerds. We love this stuff. And check this one out. This is the question that came up here. And I thought it was funny. And no one got it right. Ubiquitous in the music industry, and the Avid software called This Tools puts a studio's worth of effects into your laptop. And what is it, of course? It's GarageBand. Mic drop. It's GarageBand tools, man. Absolutely. Alrighty. Yeah, professional musicians don't have time to troll. I've watched the Hans Zimmer, the Tom Morello, the who's the cool jazz piano guy? I've forgotten his name, which is really bad of me. I've watched a whole bunch of these masterclasses. Not a single one of them talks about spending any time in forums telling people what they should and shouldn't do. In fact, Hans Zimmer was the best because he's like Hans Zimmer, he created like some of the best movie soundtracks of all time, right? And he's like, yeah, look, I use Logic and I use it on my Mac. Do I think that a dude on like an 18-year-old on an iPad is probably going to replace me and start creating the next big scores for music for a movie? Yes, I do. So he's 100% on board with the fact that, yeah, what he does isn't for everyone, and you can absolutely create great music by just by getting it out there. Speaking of great music, this is a good segue. We're going to come up here. Black belt in no can do. All right, we're going to segment over into something else. Hang on, I'm not doing that the right way around. I've got to do it this way because if you want to buy yourself a Studio Live Today mug or T-shirt, you can check out the link down below. It's right there. It's underneath the description. There's that's the reason that I use what's it called? Teespring. Is that it's right there. But you can also go to studiolivetoday.com/merch and you too can drink tea from your mug. Because it's definitely tea. It's hard tea, but it's tea. Let's move on. So we've got some cool new releases coming out, and I'm glad that Thomas Gillane has stumbled on in to the stream, because did you know that Thomas Gillane has just released a movie? Has just released. I've got Hans Zimmer on the mind. Thomas Gillane has just released an album. It's called Peaks and Valleys. And if you haven't been following this dude and his music, you gotta do it right now. I'll wait. Hang on. I'll wait. I'll give you 10 seconds. Go to the description and click that link. And then what you got to do, I don't normally tell you to do this, but if you're not already subscribed to Thomas, come down here, hit the subscribe button, and you've got access to that whole playlist. Look, we've got the videos. He's done so many videos for so many of these songs. There's only like a couple of them that don't have videos here. But if you haven't listened to Thomas Gillane, if you're a fan of this channel, you've probably heard him on YML, on my Your Music Live show. But you need to go and check out his music. It is amazing. I'm not going to play it here. I don't know. Thomas might be sneaky. He might have put Content ID when he released it, and I might get a claim, so I don't want to do that. Although I'd be more than happy for Thomas to get the revenue from it. In fact, let's just listen to the prelude. Listen to what you get when you first start listening to this album. Come on, this is what you're in store for. What? Come on now. Yeah. Right. So good. And look, there's so many good songs on here. My favorite is either All You Got or Waltz of the Madman. Both of those are amazing, but every song on here is an absolute gem. Oh, look, I didn't even realize this. See, I haven't had time to even listen to the whole album. He's got the instrumentals of 3 of the songs there at the end as well. So 16 tracks there. So go and stream that right now. Go and subscribe to Thomas right now and get it done. And he says, I've never put content ID on my song, so you're good. Well, that's good. Let's take a listen to one of my favorites, which is Waltz of the Madman. Let's just take a listen to this because the start of this one is amazing.
On a breezy evening.
Right? Come on now. So go listen to the album. It is out now on all your favourite streaming platforms and all the different places around the place. Thomas Gillane for the win. But that's not all, because not to be outdone, our other Thomas friend here, who is a moderator of this channel and an all-round good dude. He's sleeping in right now because, let's be honest, it's like friggin' 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning for him, and he's a goth dude from way back, so he's not going to be up right now. Sorry, Tom. He's watching this replay going, Pete, shut up, what are you doing? But the good news is that very, very soon, in fact, at 9:50 a.m., which is 12 hours time for me. So set your clock, set your reminders. Come on here. Do this now. So this is linked down in the description as well. After you've gone and subscribed to Thomas Gillane and you've set his, spend the next hour streaming his song, streaming his album, come over here and check this one out because actually that's the Q&A. I've got to the wrong spot. Come back to Thomas Kreitz. He's doing a double header tomorrow, which is the video here, which is the full album, a premiere of the full album that is set for 11 hours, in fact. So there you go. That's going to be in 11 hours time. I better get to bed so I can watch these. 11 hours time, the premiere of that, and then he's going to do a live Q&A after that. Look, I'm already excited. Look, bring it on, son. So go and check that one out. So who would have thought that Songtember 2021, we're all getting excited about Songtember, and Thomas have said, yeah, well, this Songtember stuff's fine, but we're going to drop full albums. Like, boom, there you go. Let's start your Songtember just the way you want to. Sound is gone? Yeah, it seems fine over here. Hopefully you're still getting sound. If anyone doesn't have sound, please let me know. But it's all looking hunky-dory. In fact, I can come over here and go to my audio, and it's going, yes, your sound is coming through. No audio, please fix. If anyone else is having that same problem, let me know. In the meantime, we'll move on because we got some high five to do. We've got some quick fire Q&A. So in these shows, we used to do a Q&A show, and I kind of miss the Q&A. So I've decided that in this show, for the last few weeks, we've been doing this. And it's a bit of fun because we just answer a few questions really, really quickly. And I've got 5 of them queued up here and ready to rock and roll. So why don't we bring up the first one here? And it's related to releasing music. So this is super relevant. It is this question that we had. And it's in a different, I can't read the name because it's in either Chinese or Japanese characters. I apologize that I don't know which language it is. And they say, hi Pete, I uploaded an EP to DistroKid a couple of weeks ago, but I forgot to type my partner name on the artist title. So I quickly pulled this and re-uploaded it, but Apple Music rejected my song, even if I tried to upload the same metadata. So I tried to reach out to DistroKid. They didn't reply. So grateful. Thank you so much if you can respond. So here's the thing with this one. A lot of folks have run into this problem lately when trying to release music. And it's really, I don't mean to say like it's not DistroKid's thing, but it's kind of not. It's Apple Music and Spotify. What they've been doing lately is when you release something and then you pull it down and you try and re-release it, they've put in things to stop people trying to re-release and re-promote the same thing over and over again. So what they've done is if you try to release the same song, sometimes they'll reject it. Now, the only thing you can do here is try to get DistroKid to go into bat for you. Now, what you can do is if you go to studiolivetoday.com/DistroKid, we'll do this, DistroKid. This is my DistroKid FAQ. And one of the things that I have here is that you can contact. So if you contact DistroKid, if you click on that link there, you can submit a request here. So if you have an issue with your uploading or your processing, put that in here. It'll give you some ideas about how to do that. And my release, like, I can't remember what that is, and then you can email them. So as soon as you get to that point, you can hit that email button. It's going to bring up your contact form here, and in my experience, they're pretty good at getting back to you. So if you're saying, oh, no one's getting back to me, try it again. It's not always going to work perfectly the first time around, but do get in touch with them because they do want to help you out. It's not in their best interest to do this. They don't want to do this, but unfortunately, because here's the problem. So many artists have abused the system. And here's what they do. They release a song and then they re-release the same song with a different name or with a slightly different file or with a slightly different metadata. And why do they do that? Well, it's because they want to try and re-release it and get it onto playlists or to get it promoted or to do something dodgy. So unfortunately, like most things in life, the minority ruin it for the majority. So hopefully that can help you out with that one. Next question, powered hubs. So do these hubs feed power back into your computer? I hooked one up, and if I feed power into my motherboard, is this normal? So if you're using a powered USB hub, they are great because if you're plugging in different devices, microphones or audio interfaces, any USB devices, if you use a hub, that can help you connect up your stuff. A powered hub just means that it plugs into power and then the devices you plug in get power from that hub. So it shouldn't cause any issues. I've been using powered hubs for years and they haven't caused any issues with my Macs or my PCs or any of my gear. Now, that being said, you do need to be careful with your routing of things. Make sure that you're not, if it's got a power only port, that you're not trying to channel that back in. You can create some like pretty nasty power loops, but as long as the USB connection from your powered USB hub goes straight into your Mac or your PC, and then you're only plugging stuff into that at the other end, you'll be absolutely fine and you'll be good to go. All right, next one. Next question. Let's see if we can bring it straight up. Yeah, that worked. Can you use USB drives and can you run iPad OS and iOS? Will it work with an iPad 6th generation 2018? Yeah. So if you're using the latest iOS 13 or 14 or even iOS 15, here's the cool thing. Anything older than an iPad Air 2, which is way older than the 2018 stuff. That's like a 2016 device. That's old school, man. An iPhone 6S, that's going to still work. Apple have actually done a good job with these latest updates of having backwards compatibility. So yes, you will be able to continue to use all the features with iOS 14 and 15 with your older Apple stuff. Unfortunately, if you've got an Air 1 or you've got an iPhone 6 or anything earlier, you're SOL, which as we know means sorta outta luck. Mark Lawson says, I've tried my Korg Zoom H5 and XR18 and Cubasis 3. Literally sees the interface and audio setup, but literally will not work with them. I was thinking maybe there's a specific interface Cubasis requires for live recordings. So it doesn't. The advice I gave to Mark here was that quite often any errors with your audio interface in software are usually caused by power. So they're usually the fact that you don't have enough power. So the whole powered USB hub thing again, or you're not using a genuine Apple Lightning to USB adapter. They are literally the two things that I come across on the daily. I answer every single comment that comes on every single video, and about 4 or 5 times a day, I will say, someone will give me this question. I'll be like, just confirming, do you have a powered USB hub and a Lightning to USB adapter? And a lot of the time they say yes. Sometimes when they say no, I say, that's probably going to help you out. And then I point them here to studiolivetoday.com/gear, and they buy one, and everything works well. The other thing you can do is check it in GarageBand. So if it's just not working in Cubasis, try it in GarageBand first. That tends to be a little bit more reliable. And then the other thing with Cubasis is also check your audio settings. Make sure that the bit rate and the sampling rate in Cubasis match that's compatible with your audio interface. So you want to make sure, I would set it to 44.1 kilohertz and 24-bit, and then try that first because that's your most universal and consistent standard. And the last question that I'm going to put here in the quickfire section, where can I get useful, free vocal plugins? Well, where can you get useful, free everything plugins? Why? If only I had my very own webpage for this. And I do. Yes, if you're an iPhone or an iPad user, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I have this one here. If you go to studiolivetoday.com/freeau, it's my free audio unit plugin list. and check out all these. We've got alphabetical order, we've got all the Nembrini stuff, we've got LRC5 and LRC7. There's a whole bunch of very cool plugins there that you can use. They're all free, they're all AUV3, and they're definitely worth exploring and investigating. So that is what you can go and check that out. Michael says, I've downloaded 17 albums on DistroKid and it was a charm. Excellent. Always good to get feedback like that. Absolutely. And DistroKid does warn you about this when you go to remove. That's the other thing. And I'll talk about this for a sec. Make sure that only remove a song if you absolutely have to. If you're just a bit unhappy with it or there's just some sort of thing and you can possibly avoid not removing it, don't remove it. The other thing you can do is you can release a remastered version of something. Don't forget that. So you can release a new updated version of a song you've already got there and just make it a remaster version. Or you can update it on an EP or an album. So let's say you've released a bunch of singles. You're not super happy with the single versions, but you want to re-release them. Instead of trying to pull them down and re-release those individual songs, release a 3-track EP and just put new remastered versions of those songs on there. It'll work just the same way. So do keep that in mind before you do that. Hello, Sing-Along ES. I hope you are doing well. And Eddie Goldsby can confirm that the 6S still holds up. Yeah. I have a 6S Plus that still works. It's got a very cracked screen. It's got a really bad battery, but I'm keeping it because one day I'm going to get it all like souped up. It's going to be like the old classic cars of the old days, and I'm going to go with that. So we'll do that. I think we're out of time. We're way over time, and that's good because we're right at the end of the show. In fact, what I want you to do, because my buddy Mike over at Creative Source has just kicked off his new show. It is called Featured Artist Live, and we've been giving a lot of DistroKid love here today, so this is his show, sponsored by DistroKid. Don't use his link, though. Use mine. Yeah, right. But you can jump over there right now. I've just thrown the link in the chat here. So if you want to continue the party, if you're like, oh, that was not long enough, 1 hour is not long enough, Pete, well, guess what? You can spend the next hour or two hanging out with Mike over there on Featured Artists Live. It's like YML, but, not quite as good. Am I allowed to say that? No. They dive into some songs in a bit more detail. And who's he got on the show tonight? I better check out and see. I think it is wonderful. It is Ed. It is Ed Thorne and Ricky T. Brown. So those two dudes are a lot of fun. You will want to go and check out that show. So there he is. He's already doing his thing there. What I'll do is we'll say, hi, Mike. We will see you soon. So it's a little bit. Let's go over there and raid Mike and tell him that Pete Johns sent you over there. Yeah, we like to call him Mean Mike, and it's like YML but not. Ross says he's released a new remastered version of Concord on the album I uploaded. Yeah, exactly. So you can do that. You can change and update that one as well. Pete Dan Ekberg. Pete, I use the Pro IO Duo at band practice, ran Mammoth on my iPhone, hooked it into the bass, and it ran directly into the PA. Worked like a charm. Well, I'm glad you said that, because guess what, Dan Ekberg? In 2 days' time, over the weekend, I will be checking out this sucker. I've got the brand new iRig Pro Duo IO that IK Multimedia were fine enough to send to me, because they're awesome people. So that will be what I'm using to record my vocals, my bass, my guitar, and everything in Songtember. So there we go. All right, the time has come that we're going to finish off here. So all I'm going to say is jump on over there, check out Featured Artist Live with Mike. There's Ed, and I'm sure Ricky T. Brown will be not far away. Ed's got the best purple background. See, look, am I missing a meeting here? Do I need to have all of this nice RGB lighting behind me? I've just got the plain white stuff. I'm sorry, but I do have the coolest T-shirt of the Delicate Giants. So there you go. That is going to do it for this one. Thanks, folks, for being here. I hope you had a good time. Hit the thumbs up on your way out and wipe your feet if you don't mind. And as we say at the end of every show, please be kind to yourselves. Please be kind to others and keep creating. Now, I'll be back tomorrow. Once you've checked out Mike's show and you've checked out Thomas's show and Jade's show and everyone's show, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm writing some lyrics to my new Songtember song, and I'm doing that live here on the channel. As soon as I hit the end button here, it'll send you there. So hit the set reminder button and check that one out. I will see you then. Until then, keep creating, folks. Have fun.